Hello, this is Todd Shank from Premier FPL. I'm going to be doing my Game Week 14 FPL tips here. So a couple things that I'm going to try to keep this one short. It's a pretty busy week for me. Going to be moving in the next day, so yeah, don't have a whole lot of time, but just wanted to get something in here real quick, kind of review my Game Week 13, see how that went, and then give a few tips for this coming weekend and looking ahead to the future some more, getting ready for that, for my wild card coming up and preparing for the Christmas fixtures then. So again, this is my Game Week 15 through 20 fixtures difficulty ranking, so you can go over to premierfpl.com to get that. And then I also have still the Game Week 12 through 20, which will cover this Game Week 14 period here to see which teams to target for this weekend. But the main one is targeting this 15 through 20. That will get us through to the new year. Hit all of these Christmas fixtures here, as well as these midweek fixtures coming up here, Game Week 15, and then the weekend on Game Week 16. So, all right, let's head back over here. My team last week did not do well at all. One of my goals for the season was to stay above the average as many weeks as possible. My game week rank was terrible. That's near the bottom. Despite bringing in 2 transfers, big issue. I said that I was going to captain Salah, and then I went back on the one thing that I did not want to do this season. One of my big goals this season was I'm just going to go with what I am predicting, what my own tips are, and not follow what other people are saying. Then went and read something about Aguero's form against West Ham and how many goals he scored against them. Completely ignoring all of what I've looked into regarding his away form this season and how terrible it's been. Decided to captain him and picked up just 2 extra points instead of the extra 8 points that I would have had from Salah. So again, it just reinforces what I really need to do, which is to just stay focused on my own targets and not worry about what everybody else is doing. So I did end up bringing in Martial. I really thought that he would do better against Crystal Palace, but that whole performance was just terrible all around from United. Ended up leaving 6 points on the bench with Wan-Bissaka, and instead thought that, again, Doherty and Alonso really thought that they would pick up the points, and they ended up with just 1 point apiece. So really, leaving the 5 points on the bench wouldn't have done a whole lot for me, but if I had instead started Wan-Bissaka, captain Salah, that definitely would have put me above the average. Would have had a much better game week there. So instead, ended up with red arrows all around. Not looking so great, but yeah, got to regroup and get ready for this weekend. All right, so a couple things that I wanted to hit on here are coming up. One of my big things is going to be targeting the game week. Possibly, I'm looking at either Game Week 15 or 16. What I'm leaning towards now is a Game Week 16 wild card, saving my transfer this week, so then I would have 2 going into Game Week 15. The alternative would be to just go ahead, use my 1 free transfer this week, and then wild card Game Week 15. So those are kind of the 2 options I have on the table. Maybe talking through some of this will help me make a decision as to just exactly what I'm going to do. But the big team that I'm going to be targeting here is Tottenham. As you can see, starting Game Week 15, actually we can look here who they're playing this week even. Sorry, let me find them. Arsenal this weekend. A bit of a tough fixture, but you never know in a fixture like that who's going to come through on top. And Tottenham have been very good recently. Match against Chelsea, pulled off a pretty fantastic win, one that I did not see coming. I don't think many people saw coming. Sorry. And so, anyway, they are definitely the team to target going into the Christmas fixtures. The other one is Man City, just because they have continued to score goals. Sorry, let me go here. Continuing to score goals. I could see them, especially with Chelsea's been playing against some of these top teams. Has not been. They have not looked good. So this is a good run of fixtures for Man City coming up, and definitely a good time to target them as well. Cardiff is a pretty decent differential. You want some of those low-end picks. Definitely want to target someone like Cardiff. Even Huddersfield here. Do a little bit of rotation between Cardiff and Huddersfield here in these weeks. I mean, it's only United, so you never know what's going to happen in that one. I don't trust the Fulham matches here, despite a lot of this green in there. Might have to go back and revise some of this. If I have time here in the next week or two, I might revise some of these rankings here to see what to look at there. The interesting one is Everton, because they have some of these really tough fixtures in here, but then some pretty nice ones. Even this Watford at home one. So Digne is another one to continue to target. Richarlison too. Sigurdsson scored over the weekend, so he's not a bad one to look at as well. Now, interesting one is Chelsea. You would think that this would be a nice string of fixtures coming up, but they've not really looked that great lately. Hazard is not doing well. Alonso has really dropped in form recently. So it's kind of a tough one as to how to target that. And then, of course, there's Liverpool, who, as far as attacking goes, you can't really go wrong picking them. All right, so a few players that I wanted to take a look at here is starting out with Aguero and Kane. I'm actually thinking that for my wild card, I'm going to be swapping out. I'm going to be swapping in Aguero for Kane, Kane for Aguero. One of the big things is that Kane has looked better lately, and Aguero's away form has been difficult to continue to play him, especially because Kane, he's known for doing well over the Christmas period. He's known for continuing to play, and his form recently has picked up. 2 goals in the last 4 matches, so looking a little bit better. One of the interesting things to note is that Aguero has been involved in more play all around this season, with the 4 assists compared to 1. But anyway, let's see. Take a look at some of the other stats here. As far as accuracy goes, Kane is definitely the better choice here. Aguero has more shots, but Kane's is better as far as accuracy goes. And if he's able to keep up that shooting accuracy, and his shooting success chance is higher too, he's definitely one that I would rather have instead of Aguero, because he is going to play week in, week out. Now, the big chances is one where Kane has missed more and Aguero scored more, but this is overall still looking pretty good for Kane, not making me want to drop him, but just a few things to consider going forward for these next couple of weeks. The other one then is the Sterling and Salah. I think that I might actually do that this weekend, is switch Sterling in for Salah. Now, some of the problems with Sterling is, 11 appearances compared to the 13 for Salah. Salah is going to start every match as long as he is fit. The issue has been, here you see 7 goals, 6 assists in only 11 appearances compared to the 7 goals and 3 assists for Salah. Salah is going to have more clean sheets. He has more appearances, more playing time out there. But again, similar to the Kane Aguero, goals per match is better for Sterling. Goals per minute scored is better for Sterling. The shooting accuracy is better. Salah has taken a lot of shots. And so, again, even comparing with Aguero, that's a lot more shots and not as many goals, comparatively speaking. Only 3 shots off target. So Sterling, I think Sterling is somebody to definitely target moving forward. Somebody who I might actually bring in now while he is in form. Now, again, the problem is the rotation risk, whether he's actually going to be playing or not. With Bournemouth at home, I don't know, it's a tough one. This actually might be a good week to hold off on him, just because it might be a weekend that Mahrez would start instead of Sterling. Seems to be one or the other with them. The other guy to look at is Sané. With Mendy out, he is going to be playing more out on that left side. So definitely going to get more time there. As you can see, Sterling at 11.3. I can do the straight swap for Salah. Even if I... There we go. But, yeah, he is currently top as far as points go. Obviously, his form is up at the top as well. So, even though he's only had 11 appearances, he has still managed to work his way up here to the top as far as points scored. And I do think it's just going to keep going from there. It's a bit of a tough one. He's more of a differential if you consider Sterling and Salah. Looking at the two of them, 36.2% for Salah compared to 13.9% for Sterling. So not bad there, as far as him being a little bit more of a differential. But yeah, I think those are the things that I'm really looking at doing. I'm even thinking about trying to move on. Looking ahead here, as far as my wild card goes, I will probably look at moving out Alonso. Yes, he is still second as far as points go, but I don't know. I'm just a little bit concerned about how well he's going to be. I mean, they do have Fulham and Wolves coming up here, but it's against some of these big teams like this Man C match here and the Arsenal match. But now that I look at the fixtures, I don't know, I'm leaning more towards just hanging on to Chelsea, hanging on to Alonso just because of Chelsea's fixtures. So that's part of why I like to talk through things, see exactly what's going on. But yeah, as far as midfield goes, I might still hang on to Camarasa. I would definitely be looking at moving out Barkley. Probably do the Salah for Sterling switch this week. Hanging on to Robertson. Probably hang on to Wan-Bissaka. Doherty and Duffy are kind of on the fence. Might move somebody out for the two of them. Maybe pick up Bennett for Wolves instead of Duffy. Maybe look at bringing in Digne and dropping Barkley for somebody like Højbjerg in midfield. As far as my front line goes, I'm thinking about moving Kane in for Aguero. I might still hang on to Wilson just because he's been pretty valuable this season. 6.4 is what I got him at. He's up to 6.8, so on the lower end there as far as his price goes. Tough one with Arnautovic. His price is currently 7.1, and I got him at 7, so not. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what I'm going to do with him if I want to go a little bit lighter in the front line. And just load up in my midfield, maybe even bringing in. I don't know that I really want to move for Sané yet, but could possibly look at bringing in Eriksen maybe into the midfield there. Anyway, like I said, I did want to keep this short. As far as this weekend goes, I think I am going to go with Aguero for my captain. Even if I bring in Sterling, Aguero's home record is fantastic. If you look at his goals scored at home, you have the 3 goals against Huddersfield here, one against Brighton, Burnley, one against Southampton, one against United. So that's what 6 out of his 7 goals came at home. He has just the 1 goal on the road this season. So definitely a good reason to look at targeting him for this home fixture. He also has all of his assists coming at home as well. 2 at home to Southampton, 2 against Fulham, 1 against Newcastle, 1 against Huddersfield. So definitely all great signs pointing to him being my captain for this week. Now, One thing you definitely want to pay attention to is the Friday evening match. So set your team early, make sure that you get it in there, and I'm actually going to go ahead and um, set up as many of my players as I can, just so that, yeah, just want to set up as many players as I can, get them ready. So just in case something happens and I completely forget to change anything, forget to make any transfers, I at least have my team set up, ready to go. I definitely recommend doing that to make sure you have your team ready. Game week 14 deadline, Friday, the 30th of November. That's at 1900. What would that be for my time here?